Hello SteelCon. So we're going to look at how we take apart and reassemble the lock that's in your kit. And these would normally have a tailpiece on the back. I've taken these out and thrown them away for you. We don't need those for what we're trying to do. So to do this, you're going to need plug follower and pinning tray from your kit. The one you need will have a mark on the bottom, or will do when I put them in the kit. You're going to need a core shim, which is this thin piece of metal, tweezers. I'm going to use my slightly bigger tray because I know where it fits on my camera. I'm going to zoom in and comfortably close on my hands so that you can see what's going on. So the first thing we need to do, make sure the lock is all locked up. If you had just picked this, you would have to do it, and it was keyless, you'd have to do it like sort of with at a quarter turn, which just makes it a little bit more fiddly, so we don't need to worry about that. The first thing we're going to do is there is a lip on this spring-loaded pin that stops you turning this. We're going to take a tool of choice, either one of your picks or the tip of your tweezers, hold that down and unscrew this cap. If it pings up while you're turning it, it doesn't matter, it's just going to stop you turning it. You just pick it up, and if you need to do one twist at a time, that's fine, until this can just come off and get stuck on the side somewhere. This is spring loaded, so if you let go of it, it will ping off. It's not the end of the world. You don't need it to make the lock functional. It's just one of those things that we should keep. And we just put the spring in one of these slots, and there's a tiny little the pin, sorry, and there's a tiny spring as well. So we'll just put those in a slot there. The next thing we're going to do is take our key and give this a quarter turn. The direction doesn't matter. I'm left-handed, so I will turn it towards me. If you're right-handed, you might be more comfortable turning it away from you. And then we're going to take our core shim. It's going to go in about this far, and we're going to slide it underneath the Bible, and that will just stop anything spring-loaded in there falling in while we're trying to take this apart. Take our follower, and we want to make sure that there's a slot. We don't want the slot underneath the Bible. We want the slot at 90 degrees. And we're just going to line them up. I'm going to take this finger and hold this shim, and I'm pushing with my palm, and I'm also squeezing against the key. So these two pieces are not going to come apart like this. They're always going to stay together. I'm going to hold the shim in place with my index finger on my right hand, and I'm just going to slowly slide the lock body over the pair of them. And you'll notice that the key pins are starting to appear, so I'm also keeping my thumb over those key pins and just sliding this off. And then when it's all the way onto the follower, I can just put that down. Still got my thumb over those key pins. Take those away. If you mess that part up, the worst thing that's going to happen is these will fall out, and we'll have to pick them up and refit them to the lock. It's not hard, it doesn't matter, we can fix it. Take the key out, and then we're going to cover 4 of the holes, the back 4, with our thumb. Just dump a pin out onto the tray. Use our tweezers to put it into a slot. Move our thumb back, dump another one out. So repeat that process. I'm going to go quite quickly for the video. I've done this thousands of times before. For you guys, take your time, don't rush it, and that's the kind of easy part. And then you can just put the core on your tray. To take the pins out of the Bible, we're going to slide our core shim out, and then I'm going to use the tip of my tweezers to move this follower back. I push it forward with my hand. Notice I'm not pulling it back with my hand, I'm always pushing it slowly with the tweezers. So we're going to push it, and as we get to here, you'll start to see the first driver pin appear. And we push very slowly until it just pings up against my tweezers, and then we lift the tweezers up slowly, and the spring will just make the pin appear. The spring will not come out at this point in this lock, so we don't need to worry about them. And we'll just do the same thing for each other pin in here. Again, I'm going to go quite quickly. I've done this before. Please take your time. The worst thing that will happen if you get this wrong is a pin will just fly up somewhere it shouldn't into the lock, which isn't the end of the world. When you get to the end, the follower will be loose, just because it's the end of the lock. Don't worry about it. Like I've got a spring in there at the minute. It doesn't matter. Just take that one out. For the rest of the springs, you can put your follower down, turn the lock body over, and just dump them out into your hand. Just be careful, they are springs, they will disappear into the void if given the chance, and they do like to kind of get tangled together. If you have problems with your springs, something I never thought I'd say, if you have problems with your springs, give me a shout and I will come and help you. There we go, so that's all the bits of this lock out on the tray. To put it back together, we're going to do this in reverse, but we're only going to put one, we call these a pin stack, we're only going to put one pin stack in. So I'm going to take my follow and put it in the other way against the slanted end, push it in. So now this is pin 5 at the back. We always progressively pin from the back because it stops spring-loaded things falling into other holes in these cores in different locks. I'm going to move the follower so I can see the hole. I'm going to take my spring, drop it into the hole. I'm going to take my pin and I'm going to rest it with the tweezers half in and half out. And then I'm going to squeeze using my hand, my thumb on here and the palm of my hand at the back. I'm going to push the follower forward and also push the lock body back. And that's holding that spring in place. So now we can use the tip of our tweezers, just push it below shear and the follower will go through. We then take our core shim and just slide it into place. This will be harder this time because there's less spring pressure holding it in place, but don't worry about it, it'll stay there. We pick up our core, we take the corresponding key pin, drop it in, take our keys, put the key in. You can put your thumb over it if you like. I'm just going to hold it upright and I'm going to turn this towards me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this between my fingers like this. I'm going to use my index finger to hold the core shim in place. Turn it so that there's an angle, so this is not directly aligned with the Bible. And I'm just going to use my left hand to slide the core and the follower together back into the lock. And then these can just go away. Turn it. And at this point, you might be tempted to just pull the key out, right? Hold the face of the lock either with the finger or like this, however you feel comfortable. If you just pull this, there's a good chance the core will come straight back out again because there isn't enough spring pressure in there to hold it in. So you want to hold it like that. It's all locked up. And then the last thing we need to do is get the tiny spring into the hole on the back and the retaining pin. You want this slightly thinner end facing up. Get the back of our lock. Use whatever tool of choice just to hold this down. And then just screw it back on. It just needs to be finger tight. If you go too tight when you put the key in, you'll struggle to turn it. But so just back it off one notch and it'll just turn freely. So you now have one pin in your lock. The next thing you're going to do is start picking it, which we'll go over in person.